Hello, it's Jennifer from heysealemon. In this video, I will show you how to bind a book using a lightning bolt stitch. This method requires no glue and it will give you a cool lightning bolt design on the spine of your book. And for the first time in my bookbinding videos, I made a template that you can use for the binding holes, and you can find that free download in the video description below. Usually in my binding videos, I measure out the distance between the binding holes, but if you find this method easier, let me know, and maybe I'll make more templates in the future for my binding videos. Some of you may use different paper sizes, so you can use the template as a starting point and adjust the measurements for your book. As usual, I will include a list of all of the supplies I use in the video description below, and while you're down there, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos, and let's get into it. For the paper, I'll be using letter size in 4 sheets of 24-pound paper and 1 sheet of cardstock. Fold the 4 sheets in half on the long side, and you can run a bone folder along the edge to make a flat fold. Now cut each of these folded sheets in half, and I'm using a paper trimmer for this, but you can also use a craft blade, a ruler, and a cutting mat. After all of those are cut, I'm going to form 2 signatures out of all of these folded sheets, and a signature is just 4 folded sheets stacked together. Now to make the binding holes on these signatures, I made you guys a template. You can of course use your own measurements for this stitch, but you can go along with what I made to make the process easier. You can find a link to this template in the video description below. This template is small, so I put 2 on this letter size paper, which you can print at home. You can save the other template for another book project or give it to a friend. I also included crop marks around the template so it makes it easier to cut out with your ruler and a craft knife. To make the binding holes, unfold one of the signatures and align the template right next to the folded edge. This signature will be for the left side of the lightning bolt, so using that template as a guide, you're going to pierce through the folded edge of the signature with an awl or a thumbtack. Repeat that on the other signature, but this time you're going to use the other side of the template as a guide. So this signature will be for the right side of the lightning bolt. Now for the cover, I'm tracing one of the signatures on that piece of cardstock so I can cut it to be the same height. Leave the width of the paper because we're going to cut that later. You can use a piece of removable tape to hold it down in place while you do this next part. Place the template in the middle of the cover and you can tape that down as well. And use the template as a guide to score the sides of the spine. And you can use a ruler and a bone folder to do this. That will help you fold this paper into a book cover. Then while this template is still on the cover paper, you're going to use those marks as a guide to make all the binding holes. Remove the template, and now you can see your cover has those score lines where you can fold the front and back cover, and all of the holes are ready for the signatures. So go ahead and fold on those score lines you made and shape the paper into a cover. Now for the binding. Single thread your needle, and I'm using about 15 inches of waxed craft thread. Make sure to align the correct signatures to the correct binding holes you made on the cover. Starting from the inside of one of the signatures on the very first hole, you want to pull through to the back of the cover, and make sure to leave a little tail of thread on the inside. Then return the needle into the first hole on the other signature, forming the start of the lightning bolt. Then return the needle back out on the next hole. You're then going to return the needle back to where you started on the other signature. And you'll have to hold on to both of the signatures while you do this. It's a little awkward at first, but it gets a bit easier as you go. Now we're back to where you left that piece of thread, and you're going to use that to double knot. Now go into the hole right next to that and return the needle back to the outside. And you may have to peek over the pages just to make sure that the needle is going out through the cover. Pull that all the way through, and then go back to the inside of the signature and cut off any excess thread. Okay, back to the outside. You're then going to return the needle back to the other signature, and just remember that you're always connecting the lightning bolt. So going through the hole which already has thread in it, you're going to pull that all the way through to that other signature, and then go back out on the next hole. Pull that through to the outside, and if you're lost on where to go, remember what I said, you're always connecting the lightning bolt. So you're going back down through the other signature where you left off. Pull that all the way through and return the needle back out through the hole right next to it. Pull the thread all the way out, and again, connecting the lightning bolt, returning that needle back into the other signature. Pull that all the way through, and it's pretty much the same process on the rest of the holes. So you're switching between both signatures, forming that lightning bolt stitch on the spine. When you're making the last stitch of the lightning bolt on the outside, return the needle back into the coordinating signature, pull the thread all the way through. You can then tie off the thread in a knot on the inside of the signature. Pull the needle through the stitch right next to it, forming a loop, go through that loop, and then pull the thread to form a knot. Pull the end of the thread underneath the line of thread right next to it so that it's laying flat with the rest of it, and you can then trim off any excess thread. And that's it for the stitching portion. You have your lightning bolt now. Now I just need to match the covers to the pages by trimming off the edges. You could leave it if you want to, but trimming it will give the whole book a smooth edge. To do this, I hold the pages and the back cover straight and trim off about 1/8 of an inch on the edge of the pages plus the back cover. And I do this with a ruler and a sharp blade, and you want to do this slowly if you want a smooth edge. Now flip it over to trim the other cover, and you can use the new page edge as a guide. So I'm putting the ruler on the last page next to that cover and trimming off any extra. Just keep in mind this binding is somewhat loose, so the pages and the cover are never going to be the exact same width, but this is as close as it's going to get, and this will give you a smoother edge. And now this lightning bolt book is ready to use. This will give you 32 pages if you count the front and back of each page. And though the middle of the book opens up to this spine part showing, that doesn't really bother me, but just keep in mind that it is part of the book. You can also try this in different colors. I think it looks really cool on black with a yellow thread, and I'm really looking forward to testing out my Opaque pens in this little book. I plan to use this book for the October Doodle Challenge that I made, and I will be posting a video doodling some of the prompts in this book, so stay tuned for that. If you make your own version of this book, I would love to see pictures of it, so share those with the hashtag heysealemon and find me on my social links, follow me while you're there, and tag me on your pictures. Hit that like button if you want to see more bookbinding on this channel, and I will also include a playlist of more Halloween videos if you want to get into those, and more bookbinding videos around here. And I will put these links in the video description below, and of course don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!